Hello, Living Water. This is Pastor Gary with the Orange City campus, and I'm joined here with Mike Notaboom, who has been one of our project managers for the Ebenezer Campaign, for the Ebenezer updates. And we wanted to have a conversation with each other and have a conversation with you so that you can hear and see some of the things that are happening, just to remind you of the Ebenezer Campaign, but also to keep you updated on what is happening. And so, Mike, we're starting here on the south door, and part of the reason is because we're changing just a little bit of a main entry, correct?
Correct, yes. The reason we want to do that is part of it's for the safe church issues with locking at the appropriate times, and also because 6 out of 7 days this will be the place to come into church, and a bunch of the time Donna will be there to greet you,
right?
And so it makes sense to have this be the main entrance to the church.
Oh, totally.
For anything that has to do with you guys,
yep.
And people would like to talk to you or Donna,
right?
And that's what's usually happening during the rest of the days.
Oh, absolutely. And then we can still unlock the kitchen door on Sundays, and
correct.
People can still come in there, but just so much safer.
Right.
For Donna and I to know who's in the building.
Exactly.
We can even do the same kind of system, correct? We're working on what system it'll be, but the main entry will be on this door, and then the other ones will be locked.
Correct. Yes, and
yep.
it'll be a more of a system. That was kind of an individual keypad. This
right.
is going to be more of a system type
sure.
keypad, and so it will be hopefully more. Works every time.
Durable and
yes, exactly.
A little bit better
yes.
system, because we've had several people contact you and myself about not being able to get the numbers punched or whatever.
Yep.
So we're going to update that. We're going to have a new system here on this
exactly.
south door, correct?
Yep. That one was battery operated because it's because it can't connect to anything that's on the door itself.
Sure.
And this will be separate.
Gotcha.
Powered
gotcha.
by regular power.
Oh, perfect. So that'll be really good. So after that entryway, we're going to move over to a fellowship area and to what will be my office, and we'll give you a few updates about what that will look like. And what's going to be my office. And we made a couple of changes here that you're going to notice right away. Firsthand, this was a wave room. Before that, it was Pastor Jason's office. So it's been used in several different ways, but the door was always over there, correct?
Correct.
And so what did we do here? What did we move?
Well, for better traffic flow, we moved the door to that side, moved the window to balance the window to the other one, and then we're putting up a TV screen in the corner, and that will be closed circuit for what's going on in the worship center.
For catching a service or whatever, yeah. Right? And I'm really in love with that. That's one of the things I'm most excited about, to have like a kind of a living room feel here, right? So if somebody isn't able to sit in the worship center, they can come out here and catch the service too.
Right.
That's going to be really awesome. And the door makes a little bit better traffic to catch from where Donna's going to be, correct? And correct. So we're going to be able to have some entryway into there.
Yep, that's correct.
Okay, and then let's kind of let's shift over just a little bit. Yeah, you want to shift that one. And we're standing in what's going to be Donna's reception area, welcome center also. What's the multi-purpose here? What's all happening with this?
Well, it'll be during the week it'll be used mostly for Donna's location, an outer office, an open office, and she'll be able to see what's going on out here, see the door if somebody pulls up. She also has good access to being able to communicate with you. And also we've done a little discussion with her on what her needs will be, and as many times we do at Living Water, we have multiple uses for a space, and so it will be Donna's during the week, and then on Sunday we're planning at this time, if everything works out well, that there will be check-in for nursery, and also it'll be the welcome center. Oh, perfect. So it'll be both of those things.
In fact, we had some discussion, if you can imagine, especially like the downtown office, right, where it was kind of a counter type
upper
feel
counter,
like
yeah.
upper counter. That's what's going to happen all the way around here too, right?
Correct.
But then we had some discussion about having it be a little bit closer on this side in order to kind of have a better conversation on a Sunday morning kind of thing.
Yep. And we're having this lowered space here for communicating better with little guys, and so that will be also a little bit better communication for you in your office.
Perfect. Yep, that'll be really good. And then there's actually for Donna, for being able to work under here, there's going to be kind of a little flip up thing that she's going to have a desk space and then be able to lock some stuff for the weekend, correct?
So she can keep her things she needs to use in her on her desk. She can tuck them away and lock them up for Sunday use.
Perfect. And then that actually makes me think, let's step back into this next room, because one of the things, now we took a step back into what was Donna's old office, and this is, again, using every square inch, being multi-purpose, because one of the things that we really wanted to accomplish with all of this Ebenezer was separating infant and toddler nursery. And so we actually took some steps to check with church safety, to check with what would accomplish what we need to do without making more and more need for volunteers. So what did we do there, Mike? What did we accomplish?
Well, we wanted to open this up and make it so that, like you said, only one volunteer could work for both sides, or less than adding double. So we opened up the wall so that the sound and everything will pass, but we kept the short wall to keep the toddlers on this side and the infant nursery on that side. And this will have a swinging door, just like the one on that when you enter the nursery, and that will be self-closing, and that will keep the two separated.
Yeah, and that's actually gonna still be able to be used for Donna during the week then too. So one of the things she had expressed was, if she has to have a meeting with somebody, but even more than that, if somebody else has to have a meeting and she needs to not hear what they're having or what they're talking about, this room is wide open during the week, able to be used for that. So the door to Donna's old office can be locked and shut during Sunday, but then open during the week. And we still have the nice big window, so everything is visible, everything is accessible that way. So that's the multi-purpose of Donna's old office. So let's actually move to who was using this, Sue, as our children's director. We're going to have her in a little bit different space too. So let's move over there and talk about what that looks like. Now we're in the corner of the jam room where Sunday school happens after church. And one of the areas that we want to utilize here is the very corner of the room, being able to give Sue her own space. So what are we doing here?
Well, I talked with Sue a while back, and we're kind of doing this on a trial basis, but we were planning on putting her desk here that was in Donna's office before. Her desk would go here, and she could have her filing cabinets there, and there's a computer and phone connection for her here, and so it would be right in this space, and kind of like a teacher, where you can sit behind a desk and
I love the reminder of what that is for her then, to be able to look out onto the kids, but just to be able to see everything that's happening on a Sunday, but also have her own personal space too. Because I think at one time we had talked about putting Sue and Donna together on that new reception area, but this is going to give them both space to kind of spread and have their own location as well. So that'll be a really good thing. So that's just a little bit of what we're doing here with the jam room. Let's move into the worship center to see even more updates as we go. So here we are in the worship center now, and Mike, this is being an electrician, this is your favorite part, right? You're about to do something that we've never been able to do in the last 12 years or so. So go ahead and do what you love to do there.
Okay, well, I'll go ahead and turn on the lights, which took about 10 minutes before, and now they're on immediately.
Look at that.
And
just a quick turn on, right? And you love to swipe your finger all the way across them, because if you remember, this used to be a warm-up time. When you would flip those lights on, it would have to take time to generate enough to get started, and it would be at least 5-10 minutes, right, by the time everything got going.
Yep.
So now we have a quick on like that, and even more than that, Mike always likes to remind me of this. If you just pause, nothing, which is great, right? Which is so different from what we had.
Yes. No hum anymore.
No hum, no buzz.
Nice.
And you were telling me a little bit about the benefit of what we're going to save as in terms of how efficient they are.
Right. We're saving about 80 to 90% in our electrical use in our lighting, and it's also better color. It's 3500 color, where our other was actually, we're using old bulbs to keep the light level at a good worship center level, and so they were kind of burning at a few different colors.
Sure.
And so and some of them were burning out. So that's a benefit. Everything is at 3500, which is it's a much more nicer color for a worship
totally center. You can even sense it right here. I'm not sure if you can catch it on the camera, but it's a much more inviting kind of feel, right?
Yeah, and it's instant on, instant off.
Right.
We don't have to wait for it to cool and restrike.
And to go with that, and then to go with the instant and the inviting feel, we can actually dim the whole thing. Right. So from the sound booth, we have the ability to dim them to an appropriate level.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so we actually talked about what it would look like to set an atmosphere a little bit better, talking about dimming it during the message, bringing it back up during the last song. All of those kind of things are going to be a lot more possible now that we have these updated lights. So that's a huge benefit that we're going to see in the next few weeks especially. But we're still not done, so we'll move on to the next spot here for a multi-purpose room. So here we are now in what was the corner of the worship center. We've done a multi-purpose room, which is going to be used for a couple of different things. Before the service, this will be a prayer room. As we've had the corner in one of the cross in one of the corners of the worship center, this is where prayer will now be centralized, being able to pray here before the service. During the service, this is going to be a great cry room because you put a really nice window here and they're able to see out onto the stage, correct?
Yes.
And then you also went to the work of putting some speaker in here so they can still hear, correct?
Correct, with a volume control that if the room is used for another purpose, it can be turned down.
Perfect, yep. And then after the church service, the wave that was meeting in my office now is going to be meeting in this room here. And so we have 3 things that we're checking off the checklist, really, with just one room. But you're not done here, right? We had talked about a little bit of the echo sound, so what are we doing to kind of finish that off a little bit?
Well, we have carpet squares that were left over from our original building remodel.
Okay.
And I think we have a great plenty. And so I think we might be able to reuse those or reuse the new ones that are extra.
So that'll be good. Yep, and so that's the multi-purpose room that's in the corner of the worship center. But we're still not done because this isn't just one level. There's something above us too. So we're going to come upstairs and check out what else is going on. All right, so now here we are upstairs of the room we were just in before. And what we have here is just a really wonderful space. That was a good example of hearing the buzz, right?
Correct.
That's what the old lights, this is an old light. So you could hear that buzz actually, to go back to what the lights have done. But what we've done here is create even more storage space. And what that's going to allow us to do is utilize what was storage in a better way. So Sandra, if you could kind of zoom that way as Mike is talking about what we're going to use that other part for. Like, what's that going to be now?
Yeah, we were actually using that for small classes, and it looks kind of rough right now because things got pushed around. But it still could be used as that, and we can take that stuff, that whatever we need to keep for other kids events, and so we can take those and store them in here.
And so we got all kinds of storage room. In fact, one of the things that we had talked about, that I've been talking about with Sue, with Rhonda, with Damon from worship side is really identifying which storage space is which, right?
Sure, yes.
So if you remember, downstairs, our big storage space right now is filled with chairs, but then even further back, there's quite a bit of children's education kind of stuff.
Right.
What we're going to do is have a couple of different locations for Sue to see what works best, but off of the little treasures room, there's also another storage space, and we're going to put all of our children's education stuff in there, which would free up the downstairs storage for Rhonda for all kinds of kitchen stuff.
Correct.
Which would also allow decoration stuff to be stored up here,
Mm-hmm.
meaning all of the worship stuff can really be where it needs to be right off of the stage there. So we're working on slowly cleaning up each storage space and identifying where each one needs to be so that you're not really wasting a lot of space.
Exactly.
Right?
You're not hunting through other things that you really don't know if they're useful or not. It's nice to have a specific space for each event, or each type of thing.
And so you've seen several of the different things that we're doing, that we're updating. My encouragement would be that you watch this. For one thing, just pay attention to what's happening. If you have any questions, Mike has been working a lot on this. Terry Mao is probably also able to answer a few of your questions. Worst case scenario, email me and I can get you to talk to the right person who knows a little bit more than I do. But we just encourage you to continue to prayerfully give to the Ebenezer campaign. In some ways, we've plateaued a little bit, especially with all of the virus stuff. It becomes a little bit of a back burner to think about following through on some of the pledges or what might be able to be given in addition to that. So we just ask you to keep thinking about Ebenezer. Keep remembering why we call it the Ebenezer, because what's really cool is that every time we walk past that reception area, every time we walk past this new multi-purpose room, every time you see the lights turn on immediately, you can remember what the Israelites remembered with their Ebenezer. Thus far, the Lord has helped us. And so we keep leaning on Him. We keep asking that as He has helped us in the past, He will help us in the future. So just keep praying for Living Water, keep praying for the Ebenezer campaign, and keep thanking Mike and Terry as they put so much work in on this as well. Thank you guys for walking through all these updates with us, and we'll be in touch, I'm sure.